Welcome, this is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Hearts of Iron 4, continuing on with my free India campaign. But at this point, we're already free, so now it's time to make other nations less free, and we're already working towards that with justifying war goals against Afghanistan, which is going to complete in January. So that is probably going to be the last war we can get away with and finish before the Germans attack the Soviets, and that is probably going to draw us into the war. So anyone else we attack will probably be also drawn into that war, and as a result, as much as I'd like to conquer Iran, I probably won't, because if I do that, I won't be able to annex Iran until the Axis are defeated, which is going to take a long time. So I don't really have the resources to garrison Iran, in my opinion, at this point. I mean, maybe it will be something I'll do, but for now, I think I'm going to focus my attention on defending myself against Japan and possibly Siam, when and if that war comes. All right, well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get back into things. It's been quite a while since last time I played, so I may be a little rusty on some of the things that were going on. Matter of fact, I would like to move this guy over to the front so we can utilize him in the desert over here. And we also have some units that are sitting here. I probably had planned to spread them out, so let's start doing that. And this unit, I think I'm going to strategically redeploy over there, and then we have one more unit to move, which will move over here. And then I'll kind of decide from there if we need to do more moving of troops. Now, their capital is here, and that's going to be kind of tough to get. We do have one mountain troop already in the area. I would assume that we have more mountain troops on the way. We do. Okay. But further troops that I recruit that are infantry, I'm probably going to send over to this front again to defend against Siam and possibly Japan, as Japan is starting to near our border to some extent. I mean, there's this mountain range here that's going to be tough for them to get through, but we'll see. I mean, it is going to be some time before that happens. All right, well, because it's going to be January, another thing I could probably do is train this army, get some experience up there, and let's go ahead and actually speed up time as well and continue. How many more days do I have until this happens? We've got about 20 days. So at the moment, we're just kind of positioning troops. Looks like what I did here is I lumped a lot of the troops together. So let's start moving them around. So what is this counted as? This is counted as a mountain. This is counted as desert. So I think I want to keep these guys here. I'm going to move... I want to keep that one infantry there, though, too. Yeah, you know what? I guess that's okay. We don't necessarily have to have a unit over there. Because there's no strategic points here that we're going to be taking. We're probably just going to sweep through, take all the desert, probably take this city over here. And then with our mountain troops, which I have selected here, we're probably going to want to send them up north here. So I'm going to split them in half and send the one group up here strategically, and then the other group I'm going to send here. And you know, now that I think about it, we've got this one infantry unit here. If we're going to keep the motorized troops here, I guess we could send this guy over there. Okay, that looks good to me. We'll have our front more or less established against Afghanistan. Now, interestingly enough, most of their troops are up north and not really thwarting my southern attack. So we'll see how that goes. In case, I think we can go ahead and continue here. I probably won't send many troops over there. Maybe if we get a tank unit popped out, because I am training a tank unit. If that does get popped out before the war happens, maybe I'll send that over there. And maybe any future motorized divisions as well. Okay, so we have a new research. Now, I do not remember exactly what I was planning on as far as technology goes. It looks like we need to continue to upgrade, though, our research and artillery, so I might as well keep doing that. Although we do now have infantry equipment that we could train for, or at least research. We could also research the upgraded recon and engineer units. We're working on tanks. Nothing there. I'm not even bothered there. Technically, we could work on some aircraft stuff, but right now I'm not worried about it. Air doctrine stuff. We're good on engineering. We're currently working on computing machines. And in theory, I could work on atomic research. We could get nukes probably, early if we wanted to, but I don't think that's really a wise idea. We've got other priorities, and we're good here until 41. So I'm pretty happy with our research for the meantime. Let's continue. So really, at this moment, we're just redeploying troops, which I will imagine the Afghanistan will redeploy their own troops to respond. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send this unit over here, and I'm going to send this unit down here. Now, I do have this one territory over here that is threatened. A soldier could come over here and attack, and I more than likely will not be able to defend it. Not unless I recruit another mountain division before the war starts, which is possible. Matter of fact, we're working on one, which is projected to finish in August. So, yeah, we'll have a mountain division ready. Okay, this troop here, I'm going to add onto the White Army, and I'm going to strategically deploy it over here. I think I have most of my strategic points occupied at this point. We have all the ports occupied and what have you. So I think I'll go ahead and put this guy in here. Not exactly sure where this airbase is because of the way it's modeled. I guess we can put him over here. Eventually, I'm going to set up a border with this White Army up against whatever possible Japanese border we have, and we'll probably have another one up against Siam. But for now, we'll just put troops over there. And I'll probably have a third army that's going to be like my defense army that defends some of my ports and stuff in case there's a Japanese naval invasion or something like that. Although if the British are on the same side as me, they'll possibly defend me as far as that is concerned. I never really looked. Do I actually even have a navy? No, I don't. That doesn't surprise me too much. All right, we do have some planes in reserve. We could think about setting up another task force here. I might wait until it gets up to 100 because it's at 82. And how many do we produce? We produce about 4 a week. So that's not too bad. Okay, so we just got our focus. We also have political power here, which we probably gained, I'm going to guess, through that focus. Let's take a look at that. So we just got Indianization of the army, which it no longer is telling me what that did. Oh, well. I think we gained some army experience because I don't think it was quite that high. I think we're trying to go for this Indian defense research. I think that was the plan. And to do that, we need to get modernizing the army and we need to get Indian gentlemen. But we have to have both. So I think that's what I was doing. I was trying to go down this path. Ooh, we could get some infantry units and stuff if we do Lions of the Great War. That would be pretty good. And we could get another unit if we go here. Wow. That's pretty cool. Some of these things would help us quite a bit, probably. I don't think we need it necessarily now, though. I want the research, so we're going to try and go for that. Here we get some generals. That's good, because we don't have that many to start with, and we get another 3. Whether we'll need that many armies, I don't know. We'll see. We are recruiting, at a decent click, but... So we'll be having that mountain troop soon. And I'll probably put that up here just to guard against this one or two infantry divisions. All right, there it is. So we'll go ahead and add that in, and we'll strategically redeploy you up here. Now, if this unit made an attack against any of these other units, we'd have a counterattack that would probably decimate them. As a matter of fact, probably one of my first moves will be to move up here to cut these guys off from supply. I mean, this is not really smart to have that many divisions, considering how many divisions Afghanistan has in the first place, which, what's our estimation on them? 8 to 10? And we are estimated to have what? As a matter of fact, we don't have an estimation. We have 28. So we have more than double the troops they do. Now, granted, I don't have all those troops actually being put against Afghanistan. As a matter of fact, at this point, how many units do we have? So we've got going to be 7, 11, 13. So we only slightly outnumber them. But I'm hoping that we also own them in tech and what have you. All right, so I could also modify my government. What do we want to do as far as that is concerned? Well, we could do... I'm not really concerned with aircraft designer or ship designer. We could get a chief of the Air Force, which could help. And we also have high command slots as well. What are our high command slots? So we already took our one army-oriented one. What do we have here? Air accidents chance, night operations penalty, or overall air support from our ground support. Huh, that's a good call. I mean, mostly we're just using ground support. So I might go with that. But we also have this guy over here, which we have close air support here. Close air support attack, close air support defense, and close air support agility. You know what, I might go with this one. Close air support. We'll do that. And go from there. All right. Another thing I probably could have done is replace... I guess I already did some of the replacement of leaders. And I don't want to do any more mobilization yet because, well, no, actually that could have benefited me. To go to war economy. What I was thinking of was conscription. I don't want to go any further along that. What would a war economy cost me? Only 150? Or maybe next time we'll do that. But we don't want to go into extensive conscription because then that reduces our training time and we're trying to build up our army because we lost a lot of it during that Civil War. They gave us our independence. Okay, so the war against China, they've managed to push in here, but fortunately Communist China is still hanging on. Oh, okay. What do we have here? So we have two choices. The assassination of Trotsky. Okay, Trotsky, once the top lieutenant and heir, presumptive of Lenin, died today in Mexico City Hospital. He was attacked in his home with an ice axe by a Spanish national believed to have been in the employ of stuff. After a failed power struggle with Joseph Stalin and his allies for control of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So we have a choice here, barbaric or fitting end to the rabble-rouser. It's not telling me what this does, but I have a feeling that because we're communists and we're being buddy-buddy with Stalin, that we want to do this. Because that would make the Soviet Union happier, I think. Okay, we have a military factory. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at our construction. So I was working on infrastructure after these couple factories were going to be done. But I think which is good for us because as far as military factories, I mean, military factories are always a good thing. And as a matter of fact, we're doing pretty good on infantry equipment as well, which I'm quite surprised on. So the main thing that we need is anti-tank. It seems like we're quite a bit behind on. And we could always do with more planes and more tanks. But I am tempted to either take the anti-air or the anti-tank. I'm going to go with anti-air here just to even up the factories. We'll go with that. And continue. So the Soviet Union is justifying war goals against Lithuania. Now, they've already taken the other Baltic states. I'm kind of surprised that Lithuania has not been taken yet either. I mean, that is a historical event. I don't know exactly how that happens from the Soviet end because I've not ever really done it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, another way I can get a research slot as far as focuses go is if I'm at war, I can do a research through this way, but I have to be at war for the 70 days to complete it. So I've been holding off on it until I had a war that I knew was going to last longer. Because like the wars against Tibet and Nepal, those took no time at all. The war on Afghanistan may take longer, but it's hard to say. All right, so we're going to be sending this infantry over with the White Army because I've already kind of determined that. And let's strategically redeploy. Where would we like to put you? How about right here? Because that soldier can be used on either border if need be. Okay, where are we on recruiting of other stuff? So the tanks are not projected to be done until December, so we should have them in time for the war. These guys are not projected until November. Okay. Yeah, so we should have a couple more troops here before with the war with Afghanistan happens. Now, it's quite possible Afghanistan's also gearing up troops. I can't be for certain of that. I mean, they might be limited by how much manpower they have. Now, we have a more certain information on them of infantry divisions of 9, which is probably correct. Okay. Be having our tank research done pretty soon, as well as a improved computing machine in 9 days, so we can continue with other things. It looks like China pushed back a little bit here, although I think the push overall widened, because I think it was just a little bit of a... Okay, there we go, another factory. Well, I know I'm going to be switching over to the other type of tank soon. So I think I'm going to put this factory in the light tank production. So we can get up to that level. And how many planes do we have now in reserve? 100. So I think 105 actually. I'm going to go ahead and create a new air wing here. And we're going to create 100 planes there. So we've got 2 groups of 100 apiece. So we've got 100 here. And we've got 100 here, so that's going to be 200 total that we'll be attacking Afghanistan with from 2 different airports. Hopefully that helps us out quite a bit, because I don't think Afghanistan has any planes. Yeah, they have 0, so we'll have air superiority over them. Okay, Denmark has capitulated, the Danish government has gone into exile, and so on and so forth. Okay, so Germany finally captured Denmark. Which, it's funny that they captured France before they captured Denmark. No gains at all in Norway, and I expect there not to be any. Okay, and... looks like Japan is really pushing hard up here, which is actually not good for me. Because that means they might hook down, and then I have to extend my border. I am worried to an extent about the Japanese troops rolling through me. We'll have to see. Okay, so we just got the improved computing machine, so we can work on decryption and encryption. Now, decryption is going to help us more, I think, than encryption would, from what I remember. because you're decrypting the enemy's stuff. So I don't think I'm going to do that right now, though. Instead, I think I'm going to work on... We're a little bit behind in some tech fields, in particular infantry equipment and artillery. Now, we have a bonus here with the 3-inch mortar here, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. 99 days is pretty quick. Another thing that we can research now, this 1940, is the an APC, but I don't know if we want to go that route yet. Another thing I want to do, now that we have more army experience, let's take a look at our tank division here. So, right now it's being supported by infantry. I would actually prefer if that was mobile battalion. The only problem is that change is going to cost us 30 experience. So that's quite a lot. I mean, I think it's a good idea to make that change now if we can. So let's go ahead and do that. And hopefully we'll be able to... Oh, it already made the change for me. That's fantastic. Oh, okay, good. Now, that's probably going to slow down the training of that. The tank division, but we'll just have to see. I'd also like to add another, if it will let me. Wait, reset. Let's do it over here. Mobile battalions, motorized. There we go. I like that. And then we'll save that as well. All right, so that's probably going to really delay the tank units being produced, but it is what it is. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at that. So it says oh yeah, see that really affected that. So we'll probably not see this until after the war started. But I think that was a necessary change. And as a matter of fact, let's take a look in production here. So we now are required more motorized equipment than what we needed in the past. And very soon we'll have more up-to-date tanks too. So if we take a look at our logistics. I'm a little bit confused about how many actual light tanks we have. That's okay. But some proportion of that will be the older tech. I would have really liked to have those tanks available when we did this war, but looks like we're not going to quite have that in time. Okay, we have another factory. We could have that pump out the motorized equipment. The only problem with that idea is I think, you know, it wouldn't take me much time. Oh, now is reading the right numbers. Let's go ahead and put a factory here. I think that's going to be a little bit more crucial. All right, so now we're working on infrastructure. And this is something that I feel like is really needed. Because infrastructure is kind of a weak point for my nation, especially along the borders. So we're going to work on that. What else can we do here, though? I think I'm going to build a couple more military factories. I kind of like the idea of putting them in the interior here. So we're going to go boop, boop, and boop. And I guess we can do this, the southern area as well. It probably wouldn't hurt to have some civilian factories too, so... Ooh, I missed a spot for the military factories. We could do one there. Alright. Now let's do civilian factories. I'll do one here. I'll do one here. You know, Probably shouldn't get that close to the limit, though, because that, I think, limits where I can put airfields and things. But, yeah, that'll be all right. Okay. Probably a little late to do the civilian stuff. We could always move that a little bit higher up. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that now. I think that's a good call. Let's move some of these civilian factories. So I'm only going to put one up there for now. That way we're also working in the infrastructure at the same time. Okay, so let's do our research first. So I'll go ahead and go up to the next level of light tank. I think would be a good call. Alternatively, I could go after infantry equipment or artillery. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go with the armor because we do have a discount here due to this. So we'll go ahead and grab the Matilda tank here. And we also need to switch our production to this. And that may delay us even further as far as getting that tank unit out. Actually, not too bad. What's the projection now? Still February. Okay. Now, a lot of this is just for upgrades. When they say total need, that means that you just need it to even get full strength. Which is definitely not as good. Alright, how are we doing on recruitment? These are going okay. How is the war going? It looks like the Chinese may... Either they pushed back or they're more or less holding here. Looks like the Japanese have made a little bit of ground in this area, and they've definitely made ground up here. It looks like they're not even really being resisted with this push. Okay, we just finished some more tech. Now, I could go on and do more anti-tank stuff here. I really honestly think we should do this infantry equipment upgrade, even if we're not getting bonuses from our allies. I think it's a good call. Otherwise, we do this stuff. You know what? I'm going to do this stuff. I'm going to do the engineering company and the recon company upgrades. So I'll start with the engineering company. This concerns me the most. Okay, we just got that. Let's get in here and continue with the plan, which is to go down to the Indian gentleman. I probably should have done Indian armor. And I think I am going to do that so that we can continue with that. Because I don't feel like we need this right this second. Because we should have more than enough leaders. As a matter of fact, speaking of leaders, what do we have right now as far as leaders go, as far as skill? So this guy is much more skilled than some of the other guys we're using right now. Now, he doesn't have any other bonuses, but that's okay. We'll use him in the Orange Army, which is the main army we're using. And then this guy over here, what do we have here? So we've got Jungle Rat, and we have Panzer Leader, and then you're for deserts. Well, I have a feeling that the jungles are going to matter more for the train we're over here in, especially against Siam, so I think that's a good call for the White Army. Alternatively, we could do hills, and now hills would be pretty good too. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at... Is there a map mode that looks at terrain in more detail? I'm sure there is, but... So this stuff down here is going to be forest, but not necessarily jungle. That's jungle. Jungle is relatively rare then. I mean, there's some down here along this border. Now, this is all hilly here, as is this. But then we get into mountains, too. So, you know, either one would be fine, I think. But most of this is just normal forests. Yeah. And I think that was specifically only for jungle, so... I guess I'll take the hill guy just because I think that's more likely to play a part. But, yeah, either way, it could be the case. And, Italy lays claims to Greek territories. As a matter of fact, this is a good point to go ahead and put a cut in the video. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.